Good morning, folks. Welcome, FYI family. Welcome to our broadcast. For your information, it's already the 4th day of November. Believe it or not, November 5th. Tomorrow, it's a big day in the diaspora, especially in the United States of America. You folks are having that mother of all elections, is it? Is it mother of all elections? Will Trump be back in the White House? Will Trump be back in the White House? Is it January 20th? Is it? Is that a day? The swearing in, the taking over? Trump be reelected tomorrow night? That's a big question. Will Trump be reelected tomorrow night? Good luck to you folks there. Some of you guys have already voted early. And some of you waiting to get in on the action. You better do the right thing. You better do the right thing. What is the right thing, folks? Let me ask you all. We better do the right thing. What is the right thing? That is the question. What is the right thing? We better do the right thing. You know, because we own voting problems here. It's quite a few of them. Our own voting problems. Deborah Pearson, Emerson, Holder, Upright Youth, Bridge Mohan, Lachman Aziz, Lynette Finance. Good morning to all you wonderful folks. Today we're enjoying our sister Debbie Collins. We're going to be at that funeral at 1 o'clock today at the Brigham Cathedral. 1 o'clock. If you got some time for us to send our girl off, please and thank you. Ingrid Crawford, we see you there. Debbie was such a jovial spirit. Always on with us, always commenting. Claudine LaRose Duqua. Good to see you on the live this morning, Claudine. Kyle Bino. Claudine, oh, your visit. When I come, I want to do no work. I want to go and see a buddy. Once, come and sit down by you, Claudine. A little half day. Eat a little cook up and go home. Eat a little cook up and go home. Lynette Finance, vote Harris. Vote Harris. Vote Harris. Lynette Finance know what's the right thing. Yeah, Claudine. Come at you, sit down. Eat a little cook up for half day. Think you got a hammock now? You know. Swing liberty in a hammock and just go home. Don't even bother if I ain't said nothing. Just come quiet. Take my plate of food. Take my plate of cook up and go home. Ruhan Basantram says, Kamala Harris all the way. Ruhan, you seem to know the right thing. Yeah. You're just only play all crazy. Everett Small and Dolly, all you fantastic folks. We got our own elections coming up. Sometimes I just feel like venting. But I won't do that this morning. It's Monday. Monday the 4th of November. You know they start playing the carols. Nigel Plass, start playing the carols. Yep. Had an anniversary on Saturday the 2nd. Was my son's birthday too, and even though we tried to put you in a back burner, he wasn't taking leave. He wasn't taking leave at all. You know? He didn't take leave. Try as much as possible. Here's what it is, huh? We never know if we're celebrating my anniversary or his birthday. That's all I was saying. We said this year he got to take second. You know? It was a close second. So a lot of things happening. Ordered some chicken from KFC on Saturday. Around 4. Got a call around 5. Confirming the address. We're still waiting. Thanks, KFC. So you all know your special occasions. Don't bother with KFC. If you're too hungry, you could wait a day or two. They're your people. We ain't talking here about the quality of chicken or the taste. If I didn't think it tastes good, I wouldn't buy KFC. But if you're in too much of a hurry, it's your people. call the wrong 4, they confirm the wrong 5. All now we still in a holding pattern. Might catch it in time for next year. Thank you, KFC. Finger looking good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. And let me see the distance between the outlet and the drop-off location. Thank you, KFC. Love when they call and confirm and then they don't shop. They don't shop. Love it. You know, love it. Not going to vent this morning. We ain't going to vent. Taking everything in stride. That's what I'm saying. We're not venting, Bernadette Duncan, Yvonne Ramasar, Anne-Marie Selby. We're not venting. We could. You see? We could, but we wouldn't. We could. We mouth and we hand and we foot and left it we want a belly. Even more saying time for Christmas. It's coming in time. I was stunned. You know, special day, you want to do a lot of cooking and this and that. You want a relaxing day. So when you look at things out, KFC can provide the meat. KFC can provide the meat. I ain't say I hate KFC. I ain't say the chicken tastes bad. I'm just saying this delivery service on our anniversary, we're still waiting on the chicken. But as I found out on Saturday, ITEL is vital. Touch not the physical. ITEL is vital. So thank you, KFC, so much. Right? We'll see how things go moving forward. I don't want to commit myself to any strong stance and position. Let's see how things move going forward. But thank you, KFC, for not showing up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Never forget you. Never forget this anniversary. Thank you so much. So we got quite a few things, folks, happening at our end. We're happy that you folks could be here with us this morning. Quite a few things. Yvette Moore is on with us for 1. Bernadette Duncan for 2. Sharon Castro Edwards for 3. You know, as we wade through 15 first things you ought to be considering. Kyle is here with us. 4. Belinda 5. We're about to close the show early this morning. Joel Ward 6. Gloria Chester 7. Deborah Pearson 8. Gilali Cock 9. See that? Bushmaster 10. 10 people you ought to know before you close your eyes. 10 people you ought to know. Marlon Thomas, 11. Deborah Pearson, we call Deborah ready. Yvette, we call Yvette. Could be 12. Dolly Anderson, take 13. Folks, good morning to you. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Gil Ali Cock, Belinda Halls. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let nobody take your joy. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. So the Massive Cup starts at 7:30 in Maryland. Sonia, good morning. Good morning. My wife just sent me the same house, She just WhatsApped me a flyer. Don McClurkin is going to be in Guyana on the 21st. She said it's a date. That means she's paying. Right? She's paying for perhaps my money. Donnie McClurkin, that's the itinerary for December. Sure, that's what it says. He's going to be here on the 21st. Let's go get a little spirituality with system. Yeah, December 21st. Confirmed. December 21st. Let's get some Jesus in the system for the season. As what's happening, folks? As we begin this morning, we did say the U.S. got their election. We got a lot of things happening at our end too. We got a couple of things happening at our end as well. Right? One of the things I hear, Barack Jagdeo is being comments being attributed to him is that, I hope you have braced yourself. Mind you, it's a light day today, right? Light day today, light day. Light day today. We starting Monday easy, as though it's Friday. Easy. He said the PPP, hear this. I wanted to give you all a good laugh on Monday morning. That's why we said we're starting like Margaret. Right? Margaret said that you're going Dutch on that date. Yes, full. Full Dutch, 21st of December. Dudley McClurkin. Full Dutch. Right? Your boy Barat, he says the PPP, listen to this now, PPP has an unmatched transparency. Unmatched. Gotta get me a haircut this morning. But my barber went missing for the last week. He's another one. Getting like KFC. He's another one. Went missing for the last week. Checked in with him twice. He didn't answer the phone. Went down by the shop. He not there. He's another one. See when people start getting too comfortable. All right. Barath says PP got unmatched transparency. Marcus Skinner. Folks, in another couple of days, we're supposed to be celebrating our 4th anniversary. Today is the 4th. 13th of November. We ain't gonna meet with Target, I can tell you that. For the solar stuff, yeah. We ain't gonna meet it. We ain't gotta tarry a little longer. Galbino, good morning. Unmatched transparency. That's what he's saying this morning. Unmatched. I got another piece of that to give you. Let's start. It's a light morning. That's what I'm telling you. I'm not giving you a lot heavy stuff. We can listen to 1 or 2 lies on this Monday morning. We can laugh at it. And we just laugh it up. Da, 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 laugh. That's what we're doing here, folks. I tell you all, us big people, we gotta stick together. We gotta stick together. He says we got unmatched transparency. And listen to this now. Zero tolerance for conflict of interest. Yeah. Zero tolerance for conflict of interest. Zero tolerance, he says. All you hear from this government is threats. You heard him say about the engineer from Region 8 bidding for contracts in his own region. Shouldn't be bidding for contracts at all. Nonetheless, he says a conflict of interest. But the man can decide we can do, man. The fella can decide, you know how? You know how? You remember when day one, your boy Darmlal given a company, a family company, big contract, first week on the job. You remember that? Your boy Darmlal. Zero tolerance for conflict of interest. Strangely enough, that wasn't the thing. That was the undoing for Darmlal. That wasn't the thing. Zero tolerance for conflict of interest. And yet they can't point to any cases, call any names. Have anybody in this country ever terminated for conflict of interest? Unmatched transparency. These boys talking about the Granger government having 200 taxes that they had to pull back. Now for the next Guyanese. We've asked them time and again, release the names of these 200 taxes. Release them. We're still waiting. Unmatched transparency. Vincent Alexander is saying that Nandalal requested the names that were submitted of persons who voted, but yet were overseas on election day. But yet, miraculously voted in our election. Those names were submitted to the previous Commissioner of Police, who also is the Chief Immigration Officer. A whole host of them, 75% of them, came back as yes, fraudulent. And it took those same names, if not more. 2 years ago, he didn't come back. He didn't come back yet. He didn't come back yet. And every week, he on a show, a froth call, issues in the news. You see, all them trying to be like us here, you know. Jagrio got he bottom house show every Thursday. None longer issue in the news. I see Parag, they're trying with something. I know how far she get. Rodriguez, they're trying with something. You know, all them run out. They see us out here looking nice and sharp, and I think it's easy to have at least 3,000 people doing your show live every night. 1,500 every morning. I think it's easy. So they got their own show now. So he got something called Nonsense in the News. Right? And he can't talk about what he did with this information. What is he updating it? 2 years. 2 years. We talking about the Americans. We can't fault the Americans for nothing that happened tomorrow night. One way or the next, we can't fault them. We can't fault them at all. I fault myself. A whole vice president out here. Right? You hear lie? This is lie. Unmatched transparency. Zero tolerance for conflict of interest. That's what the fella is said in his last press conference. Comments attributed to him in this morning's paper. But this way, we started the week on a light note. No heavy stuff. So let me laugh at one or two lies we see flying about the place. You know, it was Nigel Hughes, the leader of the Alliance for Change, who just last Friday was talking about where we are in this country, where elections are concerned. 60 years after, he says, and we're still fighting over credible results. We should have a system, the Alliance for Change leader says, that produces credible results that we all can be comfortable with, that we all can agree on. 60 years later, we ain't getting better. It might take us 60 years before they actually come back with the results of those names. Were these people overseas or not? Were they overseas or not? Kevin Passat, Deborah Pearson, Yvette Moore, Yolanda, Dexter Solomon. Were they not? They're running with show. I'll just do the little walk in front of you now. Do the little AG custodian the Constitution walk, the man. You can barely do the VP work properly. You want show. The bottom house shop show. Nonsense in the news. Nigel Hughes, just last week, 60 years later, he's still coming.
After 60 years of independence and after 1992, we should at least by now have worked out a system which will deliver fair, credible results acceptable to all political parties, not acceptable to one or the other. And if we as a country cannot arrive at a position where our institutions can deliver results which are broadly accepted, we are in a difficult place. Because if we cannot even manage the process by which we identify those who will govern us for the next cycle, then it means that we are always going to be in a state of perpetual crisis. And worse than that, if we continue to have results that are not accepted across the board, we will create, unfortunately, the incentives for substantial parts of this country to disrupt the good governance of the country over the cycle of elections. They will have no trust, no confidence, and therefore their conduct may well be incentivized towards other acts of disruption. I just merely wish to go back to when the good leader of the opposition in the 1970s, Dr. Chetty Jagan, was alive. You had several incidents of burning of sugar, you had several incidents of sabotage, and at the time, the government of the day said that this was based on an attempt to derail the economy. So whenever you choose to pick your era, you cannot have parts of this country that don't accept the results.
I think the point that was being raised there, the point that was being made there by Senior Counsel Hughes is when people don't agree with the outcome, people are not comfortable, people are not satisfied that the system is fair, things happen. The last thing we want to do is return our country to that periodization in history where things happen. They tell us a light start on Monday morning. So we heard two lies there. You know. Transparent, said it. What was the phrase they said? Most unmatched transparency, zero conflict of interest. Yeah. Yeah. And in 2020, we caught quite a couple, quite a few PPP supporters, die-hard PPP, you know, trying to get in there as polling agents, as polling officers. Quite a few of them. But thank you for eagle-eye public, quick to spot the hair. I know it's savagery. I know it there. Boy, oh, you can't go there. Quite a few people are trying to get in a GCOM. You know, still quite a lot of skullduggery that was done when you think about it. Folks, I don't know why, if the People's Progressive Party feel they won the last general and regional election so convincingly, why to fight the petition so much? You know, you would have been able to see through their argumentations how they won this election. Fair and square, fought the petitions. And so lots of questions regarding the last elections still outstanding. It is mind-boggling to me, again, I'll say this, because this particular area here of the East Coast has not been interrogated nearly enough. How we managed those 47, 49 ballot boxes coming without the required statutory documentation. Right? And what's interesting is that those documentation that were missing, those ballot boxes, were all from areas that traditionally vote PPPC. But yet it's up new. Drink this little bar without any milk, without any cream. Yet it's up new. Who branded as riggers. And yet, in PPP areas, all the polling stations in the East Coast, in those areas that traditionally vote PPP, no evidence was there of how those votes got into the box because all the statutory documentation, they were missing. They were missing. And on the other side of the political divide, in all of the APNU polling places, the statutory documents in the box. But APNU AFC are deemed to have been riggers. You will never in the history of this world see another, what was the age's word? Bizarre phenomena or phenomenon like that. No other part of the world. And the people who got all the documentation is they're trying to rig. And the people with the documentation missing, they're the paragons of virtue. And they would have us believe now that they have zero tolerance for conflict of interest, unmatched transparency. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. How nice. You know, Commissioner Vincent Alexander, Commissioner Extraordinaire Vincent Alexander, was on Nation Watch with Marvin Williams over the weekend. And he waded back into this issue. Guyanese need closure on these electoral matters. What transpired there with those ballot boxes? What went on there? We don't have a right to know. In the name of transparency, we don't have a right to know. Take a listen to some of what Mr. Alexander said on Nation Watch with Marvin Williams.
This is a matter we need to clarify. Because what Nandalal has said to the public is that there is a contention that there were 15,000, he mentioned, fraudulent votes. I don't know of that contention of 15,000 fraudulent votes. I know that during the recount, it was determined that the statutory documents for 47 boxes in the East Coast, area for which Nandalal superintended for the PPP, could not be sourced, could not be found. It means that in that forensic recount, those votes could not be validated because you did not have the documents which are used in the place of poll to cross off the names that documents which are then used at the end of poll to say there's so many names crossed off, there's so many ballots, and therefore these ballots are valid in keeping with the number of persons who turned up to vote. In the recount, those documents could not be found. And therefore, the validation of those votes became a question. Is it true that this is the number of persons who voted, or is it not true? That's the purpose a recount serves. Now, during that process, there was a court matter, and in that court matter, I think the judgment talked about only valid votes should be counted. In that regard, I think the chief elections officer proceeded to exclude from the count those votes on the contention that they were not validated during the process of the recount. The fact of the matter is, I did not take the same position as the chief elections officer. My contention was that these persons, they must have been persons who voted. And so, notwithstanding the absence of the documents of validation, you can't simply discard those votes. You had to go to another process that would allow people who did vote not to lose their franchise. And therefore, my proposition was a by-election.
I remember that
That would
clearly.
allow those persons to vote as you discard these questionable ballots. But to ensure that every Guyanese entitled to vote was allowed to do so by virtue of a by-election. So Nananal again is dishonest when he says to the public that there was some contention that there were 15,000 fraudulent votes. There were 15,000 votes over which there were issues of validation. And in the interest of upholding the Constitution, my proposition was a by-election. That's documented. And copies of that document can be found, if they haven't destroyed them, in the National Library and in the University Library.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. You heard it there. You know, that is a part of this election that we last had that has not been thoroughly interrogated, you know, because of how they fought down those elections petition for election. They said they won, and won fairly and squarely and transparently, free and fair and free from fear. But yet somehow those petitions had something inside they don't want the world to see. And we have these names still outstanding, adding to that the GCOM chairman says Nandalal collected 2 years later, he ain't come back. He pull a KFC on we still waiting. Still, he hasn't come back. He hasn't returned. Run away Nandlal. He run away like how Ashley run away to Spinelash Hasni. Run away to Dubai. Run away. 2 years later, Avril, we in a holding pattern. 2 years later, we holding and we waiting. what about Marley's song says? I don't want to wait in vain. Right? Don't want to wait in vain. So we got a lot of things still outstanding, a lot of questions out there. And they're pushing these quote unquote electoral fraud cases. You and I know this is bogus, trumped up charges. I hear they telling us that these cases should be the case should be recommencing on November 6th in front of the acting chief magistrate Faith Magusti. That's what we're hearing where none is concerned. You know fake and bogus trumped up charges. Folks, you all remember January 6th? Huh? Was it 2021? January 6th. That insurrection? How many co-conspirators and conspirators and intellectual authors already doing time for that? Because the people had evidence. Huh? They had evidence. These guys here, I don't know which evidence shop they went to. Manufacture, where they manufacture. 4 years in. Oh. What justice system got people languishing? Under charges, fraudulent, bogus charges for 4 years. 4 years. Justice too long delayed. Sharon Costello. Justice too long delayed. My God. The blaming one magistrate, the blaming the judiciary, the blaming. They're like that. Blaming everybody. Open the petitions. Open the petitions. Over the weekend as well, good folks. As we got into the weekend, we saw the lines to change. Again, talking about biometrics, saying it's time. Biometrics. Time for the metrics. Listen, there's nothing more hurtful in this life when people use your own words against you. Nothing more hurtful. You know. That's why you gotta get coherence in the things you support. But any given day for the PPP, they want to play all sides of the field. All sides of the field. They're trying to play. Nothing more hurtful. You see this thing called biometrics, you all know already. You see a little bit in what the AFC said. At one point, as I heard Vincent Alexander say over the weekend, even what Jagdio said is going further than what we are requiring. But he did say it. And by extension, the PPP proffered that they wanted biometrics, and for all of these glowing reasons, they said they want biometrics. But they only want biometrics when they're outside. When they go in the house, they want biometrics some more. That's the trouble that we have. So, folks, part of the things we're watching. The lines will change on biometrics Friday into the weekend.
The Alliance for Change, we amplify our call for an improved electoral system ahead of the 2025 general and regional elections. Given what the PPP has said in the past for an improved electoral system, AFC is expecting the following changes ahead of the 2025 polls. 1, a new voters list. 2, the use of biometric voter identification at the place of poll. 3, electronic voting. We note that these are systems already called for and identified by the PPP as necessary for free and fair elections. And the systems they said they would pursue, as we hear in this video clip.
We need enhanced biometrics, because when some presiding officers said, like we had some cases in Victoria, this is Mr. X, just looking at the photo, and the polling agent from the party sits across the room or is in a hostile area, is afraid to object, they allowed a number of people to vote who should not have voted. But if you have biometrics, enhanced biometrics outside of just a photo ID, it could minimize that happening. We are going to push for electronic voting. Now, you have a system where you can do both. You can vote in the machine, and then it gives you, when you finish voting with the machine with enhanced biometrics, it emits a small paper which shows a ballot, which shows how you have voted, which you can then, like some systems have this method, which you can then put in the ballot box. So you have both systems. You can only access the voting through enhanced biometrics, like an iris scan, but you safeguard against presiding officers or anyone else acting capriciously and giving extra ballots out to people. But it's a dual system. It's both electronic and manual. That is paper trail.
Yes.
So we're going to be pushing for that. We have to ensure a fair system of hiring in GCOM, a fair system of hiring people, and that people who are affiliated with political parties do not work in GCOM, who have been openly partisan.
That was Barry Jagdeo making a call for the very things that the Alliance for Change has been calling for. We remind the PPP General Secretary of his statement. If those systems were being argued for then, the argument is even stronger now. Moreover, Guyana is now better placed with the financial resources to implement biometric identification and electronic voting. There's no more excuse. If the VC is to be taken at his word, then he will follow through and honor the statements he made. He will instruct the PPP commissioners on GCOM to pursue these systems. It can get done in time for the 2025 polls. We challenge the PPP. If they believe that they can win in free and fair elections, implement those things that the VC argued for. 1, a new voters list. 2, enhanced biometrics. 3, electronic voting. And let us head to the polls in 2025. Let the PPP back up their words with actions. No more hiding behind present electoral laws. Let us amend legislation that may be needed. The AFC will support appropriations for GCOM to capture biometrics and conduct electronic voting. We're throwing down the gauntlet. Time for the PPP to stand by its statements. Support the implementation of changes you advocated for, and let us head to the polls, and we will see who will win in free and fair elections.
Yeah, welcome back. Let's do it. Let's just do it. What you guys are worried about? Let's do it. We got things to focus on this morning, eh? Got other things to focus on this morning, folks. We had a high wind in Karasabay over the weekend, Region 9. They're telling us a number of homes have been destroyed, but 7 homes of our brothers and sisters there in Karasabay have been destroyed due to high winds. And that is, apologies there. Some of the things that we're watching at this morning, our thoughts with them. The Region 9 RDC, Regional Democratic Council, said they've dispatched a team to see what's happening there and to ascertain as well what kind of support the residents in Karasabai need. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful village of Karasabai. I always forget if this is north or south Pakaraimas, but it's Karasabai nonetheless. And our thoughts and our prayers with all the folks there. Heavy winds, they said. That's how they characterized it. Strong winds resulted in the destruction of 11 homes, according to the regional executive officer. And as I said, they've dispatched this team to see what support is needed and the extent of the damage there in Karasabai. Folks, we got to be thankful that in the larger scope of things, this country is not prone to a lot of natural disasters, save and except the PPP. Save and accept the PPP. So one of the things we're watching at this morning. So our thoughts, folks who join, they got folks who join us from Tiger Pond, which is in that area. Is Tiger Pond Karasabai or is it neighboring? Is it before? Is it after? You know, folks join some Karasabai as well. So our thoughts and our prayers with the folks there. You know, 1 minute you got a house, next thing you at the mercy of the enemies, rather you're at the mercy of the elements. Same thing. Sonia Sargent, Leon Blair, you know, you got a shelter over your head this morning, be thankful. So much happening in the world. And so the folks over the weekend pelting the monarch there in Spain with mud. You know, they had some flash flooding. You know, lost a life. There's over 200 people lost their life. They had some flash flooding. You know, life can come at you fast. Thankfully, we don't have all of that in this country yet, save and except the PPP. You know, we don't have all that as yet. The folks at Linden who suffered a similar freak storm, they're still not whole and battered. You see this KFC thing must stop. Holding for relief. You know, holding for the relief. I waited since Saturday afternoon for this chicken. Waiting since Saturday afternoon for this chicken from KFC. You know, it's one of my family members used to say when he was young, KFC. Waiting. It was your name, dispatched the team. They said they're looking to see what support, to ascertain what support might be needed there. We're thankful, folks, if you're in better stead. And that's been the hinterland. You know, there was this robbery. You know, that's to tell how this country, the policing system is not really geared to the expanses that we have. Right? Robbery and abduction in Rupununi, they're telling us this morning, joint services are hunting for armed suspects. Right? So this is an extensive search operation where members of the joint services are combing through the deep south, Rupununi. This is in totally other direction than where Karaspai is. Deep south is Anai area. You're going down and you're going deep south, region 9. Focusing on areas like, is it Bashazan village, and areas along the Takatu River, as they pursue 6 masked men who were involved in this daring daylight attack. Saw some of the footage. Maybe it says a light Monday morning. If you hear gunfire in this footage, you think it's Iraq or this is the Gaza. You hear the exchange of gunfire, you know, during this robbery that occurred. Right? But people move with impunity. They said the victims of the incident included 5 Guyanese and 4 Brazilian nationals. Among them, Natural Resources Officers Victor Adams and Romaine Simon, Christopher Charles, and a barber from Letem. Right? That's what's happening. They said the daylight attack took place on Saturday morning at Bush Mountain substation of the Geology and Mines Commission in Marudi. It's a mining area. It's gold we're talking about here now. Gold mining. Marudi Mountain. So the hunt is on for the perpetrators. And people think it's only in the city, you got to be careful. If I live in some outlying area, all is well and good. Why is it we see all of this kind of mayhem, breakdown in law and order every time the people's in government. Why is that? You want to find so, Gwendolyn Gill? Every time the people in, chow tick, or chaotic, depends. Take your pick. Marcy Agar. So the hunt is on, folks. The hunt is on. Caribbean Airlines officially started on the route between Guyana and Suriname. So if you want to head off, folks, you fed up a week, you want to head off in a different direction, fed up all these robberies, fed up Jackdaw lies, you want to do something different, they're telling us they have begun flights between Guyana and Suriname. Officially kicked off. Officially, this is not the planning anymore. Officially kicked off yesterday morning from the Eugene Correa Airport. Right? Eugene Correa Airport and the Johann Adolph Pagnell International Airport in Suriname. So you got to go. You're looking for a little getaway, there's a direct flight now. Wonder how long that flight takes. A great option. Wife has been behind me. We got to go Suriname. We got to take a walk. Country girl like walk. Like walk. Want to take a walk. So that's what's happening at that end, folks. We thought you ought to know. Booking a vacation or something, you got to open up. All right? 810 in New Jersey, Gil Alicock says. Here go, you're gone again. Gone again. Your foot swift. You see that? Foot swift. So that option is open to you when you get fed up. Fed up. I saw our General Counsel to New York, Mr. Brotherson, talking up the importance of the diaspora contributions and diaspora interest to the government of Guyana. Right? Michael Brotherson, the CZ Consul General, well, not too fussy with what he said, right? But maybe Brotherson been too long in the diaspora. Because we get so many reports about Guyanese who want to make an impact home. They say they come, they knock on some doors. Nobody wants to see them. You want to do what? You want to come and help me? Y'all is a one-man show. Y'all know people is a one-man show. People complain just all the time. They go out there in the diaspora, make these bold promises. And of course, you may get people who retired or just willing to help because they got a skill, they got an expertise. And then you come trying to fit yourself in some part of the system, and you don't know. Well, you don't know that things don't work so here. Things don't work like that here. And worse yet, you're brighter than Big Head. Worse yet, you're brighter than him. So when we saw General Counsel saying that government remains mindful of the diaspora interests and contributions, we're not taking the General Counsel. He got to do his work. He got to see what he got to say. You see? But in reality, y'all know this story. Now for you on with us this morning, tell us the hassle. How right in the diplomatic sector, the diplomatic corps. And this in Guyana we're talking about. This is not externalities. Ting chow tick, chow tick, chow tick. Chaotic. And a lot of folks tell us, Deborah, when they come and they try to get something done, they come and they try to fit in. You're going to disappoint yourself over and over again. It's not so easy. Good people, it's not so easy. Not so easy. Right? And remember when we started, we talking about the fact that talk about zero accommodation for any conflict of interest. All this transparency they got and so on. And we talk about the fact that we see threats all the time. but nothing ever becomes of it. We ever learning. The good book says, ever learning, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth. And so we've come to the conclusion that in Guyana, it's all bark. It's all bark and no bite. We've come to that simple conclusion. All bark and no bite. Right? All bark and no bite. Threats. Now, ain't going no place. For instance, saw the traffic chief giving the headlines in this morning's papers or in the media saying that e-bike riders urged to comply with road safety rules. E-bike riders urged to comply with road safety rules. If people don't comply with the rule, you hold them accountable. Our song there. Hear me in the vernacular. NASA, our song there. If people don't comply by the rules, you gotta urge people. There's big people out here, unless we got a little chair riding these bikes now. There's big people out here. So when we see Superintendent Mahendra Singh urging, right? We gotta wonder what's happening here. What's going on here? He's urging. If you're not on the right side of the law, you're on the left. And then consequences kick in. Right? You ain't got to urge and plead, and we see it all the time. Like when they were hoping that the concessions they make at the top filter down, trickle down. And then we saw Irfan begging, businessmen, let it pass down. Let it pass down. We see constantly threats. That's what people good at, threats. Right? But the back ends don't seem to be there. It don't ever seem to be there. If you have laws and people run afoul of the laws, do what you got to do. But see, when you got a lot of friends and family and favorites, and you play into the gallery, right? This is a lot of what you see, and this is a lot of what you hear. You got all these urgings. Right? People are corrupt, but they say, I give you all a fair chance. And people walking away with millions of dollars. I'm trying to find the other headline of a similar nature. All you're getting is urgings. Urgings. Some of the things we're following this morning for. Verse 15. We're going to circle back to that. World Health Organization says TB is back. Tuberculosis. When it's going up. Hearing about TB, it's like a plague, you know. When somebody says she got TB, he got TB, is that you should shun, you know, like leprosy. Thanks to the advances in science, you know, we don't think like that. Again, thanks to the advances in science, we don't think like that. But here again, the World Health Organization telling us, right, that a new report reveals that globally, approximately 8.2 million people were newly diagnosed with TB in 2023 alone. 8.2 million, the highest number recorded since the WHO began global TB monitoring in 1995. Last year, 8.2 million. This is a notable increase from 2022. 2022, you had 7.5. Tuberculosis on the rise again. Part of its reporting, the World Health Organization asking that you, of course, exercise all the cautions and precautions and so on. TB, thought you'd seen the end of it? Think again. Think again. Which says Pamela and Leslyn, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Maxine Bernadette, Deborah Pearson, the more things change. Good folks, as we wrap up, the more they stay, the more they stay the same. You ever wake up good? We see a light morning around these parts. A Brazilian fuel truck driver died in a crash along the Lethem Trail, Region 9 again. Region 9 is hot news. Y'all see that? He was identified as Wilton Venancio Lima, lost his life on Saturday in a crash along the Krupakari Lethem Trail, Region 9. The accident took place close to the Mushaparu Bridge, close to the Canopy Walk site, according to reports. Yeah. Fuel coming from a fuel truck from Brazil. In this area, we do more Brazil. We do more business with the border countries than we do with Central. Right? More business with the border countries than we do with Central. Thoughts and prayers. This man's family. Our thoughts and prayers with them. The sugar industry, they tell us, thanks to this one, mounting losses in the sugar industry. 2023 losses are pegged at $4.7 billion. That's for the sugar industry. Losses in 2023, 4.7 billion. Yeah. 4.7. No doubt it's up. Watch them when they come to rebut that. Everything bad, up new. They walk and stump the toe, up new. AFC. Right. So Sapnu telling us this morning, even with a 15 billion subvention for 2023, Isuko recorded a 4.7 billion loss. Isuko is not a company. It's not a state entity or agency. It's a charity. It's a charity. Big hole, Gaisuko, you're just going to throw money down it. What benefits, other benefits, could 4.7 billion brought to the Guyanese people? Javier knows it. Irfan knows it. Ashley knows it. Nanlan knows it. Gaisuko ain't going no place. That's why the national production already revised. You only could achieve 39% of it so far for the year. This thing not going no place. Right? But God forbid, Apnu AFC should be right on right sizing. God forbid they're going down fighting. 4.7 billion in losses is criminal. Going down fighting with the industry. Hope you carry all them down with it. Stink all of them. Cover them and bury them. Hoping the industry finally collapses. Carry all them. I'm talking about the hard workers in the industry. I'm talking about these politicians who know the right thing and refuse to do the right thing. Because Apnu should not be right. 4.7 billion in losses. See wickedness like that? See wickedness like that? As we wrap up, folks, some of the other things we following. Mustafa laments the rise in prices for brackish water shrimp. Well, do something about it. Now, you're not in a position, Mustafa. Use his hour for the industry. Do something. He laments. See? Oh my God. On us, the price of brackish water shrimp gone up. Woo! Do something, the man. You're so bright. You're so bright, the rags big head to do something. You're so bright. Move past lamenting. Learn a long time ago. Leadership is not about just saying things cannot be done. You gotta make things happen. Cute Zulfi, you gotta make things happen. Look at this other one. See the chamber concerned about counterfeit and expired goods on the market. Suddenly, with too much of them, you know, their friends now getting beat out of business, beat out of competition. Too much for them now. The concern with counterfeit. I call some of this counterfeit PPP. Install PPP that we got here, creating all this havoc. Counterfeit and expired goods on the market. So they're asking the relevant government agency to take action. That's what we're doing in this place all the time, man. This is a cake shop or what? This is a cake shop or what? What are we doing out here? If not taking action, they didn't see it. They know they're working. They know how they're working. Then I see people in town this morning saying that Jagdu should withdraw the comments about Mark Bench Cup and Queen at Camp Street and lashes and false hair and lipstick and all that. Condemning it. That's all right. Thinking guy he should resign. Don't even retract nothing. Withdraw him from the government. Withdraw him. I was president and security told me, you know, as I heard, is it Dr. Hines over? Say he was a false hair lipstick president. If you were president and there's a news that interests you, huh? That's the thing that interests you. That's where the decadence and decay started in this country under him. Not even so much, even though it had something to do with it. Janet thrown the coat right over his shoulder, saying flap the coat. It's with the advent of the Jagdeo presidency, the real decadence. You know how we wanted a moral and spiritual revival. It ended with the advent of this fella here. People in terms of withdraw the comments, Jagdeo. Distasteful. Distasteful. We told you about the Brazilian national lost his life. He said 2-month-old has been admitted to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation after a car crash. 2-month-old. Fighting for life. Brother Bob again, fighting on arrival, fighting for survival. You know, learning my sociology classes as we did on the University of Guyana campus. All life is a struggle. The sociologist said. Who was that sociologist? We got Commissioner Colon with us. I think sociology is our major. Commissioner Colon with us. All her life is a struggle. Who was that? Was that Weber? Who was that? Max Weber. All her life. 2 years old. Car crash. Jesus Lord. What are we going to say about that now? And then, of course, today, we should have been celebrating Labor. I take a sip of tea for that. Starbucks News is celebrating its 100th iteration of the How the Cost of Living Affecting You article. 100 of them. Starbucks News, they're in, I think, South Sophia. That's where they picked up the comments from today. Deep fields of fire. Right? They spoke with one Leota Matchison, a 52-year-old cleaner. Right now, my big son and I are working, and the other son can't get a job now because he ain't too bright. That's what she said. He's illiterate. We're receiving the minimum wage. We try to get money for our passage to travel to work, to buy things to eat. We have to find ways to go about our work. So I want to look like we're punishing her. So we have to try. That's what Martin says. Shonil Atkins, cost of living affecting my family and I a lot. Financially, it is affecting us. Things are increasing a lot. Roberta DeYoung, 55-year-old single mother, cost of living is a bit tough on me, but I'm trying. It's hard on me because the money not there to help support the kids to go to school, and sometimes you. Roberta DeYoung. Evelyn Felix, final one I'll give you. Evelyn Felix, pensioner. She said cost of living is bad. The prices for all items are very high. My family and I of 8, including my cousin, 2 sons, 2 daughters, and 2 granddaughters. That's the family. Only one of my sons and one of my daughters work to provide for us. I receive my pension, which I use to pay bills. And instead of the prices going down, this pensioner, Evelyn Felix, says, instead of the prices going down, prices going up. It's 100 iterations. Thank you, Sabbath News, for staying on this and keeping us on the pulse of what Guyanese feel out there. I saw them hitting Christopher Ram's survey saying, oh, it's only 135 people. How many persons Sabbath News surveyed in 90 weeks? You're going to lash the two. Oh, it's unscientific. Them boys don't believe in studies and surveys and consensus and them kinds of things. No. When they come for talk. When they don't talk, they gone. They gone. Cost of living, y'all heard it. You heard it there. That's our folks tackling this morning outside. That's what our folks tackling, folks. That's going to do it here for us. That's our time this morning, good folks. As we start, it's a light Monday. It's a light Monday. Folks, we're heading into this election period. Y'all better brace yourself for it. Brace yourself for it. Right? We can be here trying to bring you guys the valid and credible information all we can. Before you guys rush off, why don't you hit that emoji button for us? Why don't you give us a share? We don't get in any problems. You know, some of y'all might be on people walk. You want to know the watching we. You want to know you watching us. If you ain't getting no problems, give us a little share. Please and thank you. See those of you who are going to give our girl Debbie a send-off today at the Brigham Cathedral. See you guys at 1. You know, I'm going to get my hair cut, then come over there. See you guys at 1. Please and thank you. As we say farewell to Debbie Collins. You know, she was a regular in our program. I know her sister Dawn. I got to know Debbie afterwards. Fantastic people. Fantastic woman Debbie was. You know. So sad to see her go. That's going to do it for us at this end. Folks, that's the time. That's our program. Have a fantastic morning. And stay sharp out there. Stay vigilant out there. Please and thank you. All right? You all take your time.